Behind home plate, we bringing it to them all day. All day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. Always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your endearingly sending host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by a guy who is now coming from an undisclosed location, which looks an awful lot like a closet, the button lover, Josh Soroka.
Yeah, you like my new closet?
Yeah, an upgrade for you over there, Josh. Nice.
yeah, it's a closet. I'll tell you what, there's this bike up here. I'll tell you the reason I'm pulling it down. It's got this clock. If you can see that clock on the video, it ticks constantly. And I could not find where the ticking was coming from because who would have thought that a bike would have had a clock in it until right before the show when I noticed it. I noticed it in the camera that there was a clock up there.
The front wheel is a clock. Yeah.
So,
I'm pumped about this show, Josh. I have no idea where the show is going to go. We can talk Ravens. We can talk end of the Orioles season. I got some Orioles highlights to hit on.
Yeah.
We can talk PlayStations. I don't know, Josh, but I feel like this show could go a lot of places, Josh.
It could. You want to start with why I'm in the closet?
Let's start with the closet. Josh, you're back in the closet.
You know, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise. I feel like I've done many shows in closets.
I don't know if Josh froze or I froze. I'm guessing Josh in his new location closet froze.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there now. Well, not there anymore. Mentioned to find out why Josh ended up in the closet too. Really leaving me in suspense here. It's got to be on his end. I'm not rocking the Eastern Shore anymore. I'm Annapolis now, baby. If there's internet issues, not coming from my end. Naptown.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Well,
all right.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
I see two of your faces, really one's frozen, but yeah.
All right. Well, let me see.
There we go.
All right. So now we're okay. It's saying my internet. It's saying the internet's not working. Hold on. Let me
that old unreliable closet internet.
Yeah. I might have to just do this from my phone. Let me see if I can do that. All right, so I got to leave. I will edit this part out.
All right.
Of the broadcast.
And then there was one. Still says live there. It makes me pretty nervous. What's live, man?
suggest. Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. I moved to the cell phone. Is this going to work? Maybe? No?
Yeah, no, it's going to work. That sounds good.
I sound okay?
Yeah, sound fine.
Okay. All right. Well, then we will try it from the phone, since the internet's not working here.
All right.
So I am all right. So I am not at my home anymore because I got divorced on Wednesday. And here's what I'll tell you. There is a paper in the they added a clause to the divorce mediation saying that I cannot talk about my, I guess, ex-wife now on the podcast.
Okay.
Not that I was going to say anything bad anyway.
And not that, no offense to you, but it's not that you exactly have the following with Joe Rogan on here either, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also just not my nature to go around and bash people.
Right.
Even if I'm not happy with how things went.
You could have been doing that before if you wanted to, sure. You chose not to.
Truth is, I could have done this for the past 9 months. I do not like holding my phone and trying to line the camera up.
Oh.
That's weird. Truth is, I could have been doing this since February. So that's what I've been dealing with since February. As if you've watched the video, you've seen my background change a few times. It's been dealing with that. I'm not going to share a lot of the details about it on the podcast. Here's what I'll tell you.
It was an easy, peaceful process.
Right. Mediation took 12 hours.
Mm.
It was a 12-hour Zoom call, which I believe is a record for me for a Zoom call.
Yeah.
It started at 9 a.m. and I finally got off a little bit after 9 p.m. It was so long that I went to a softball game because I had an 8 o'clock softball game that I had to pitch. And I pitched in the softball game while wearing my AirPods like tonight, sitting on a Zoom call. Because let's just say without saying how the divorce went, the mediator spent a whole lot more extra time in the other person's room and very little time with me. Someone was being kind of normal and the other person not.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, I'm not going to talk about the divorce on here. Maybe especially not tonight, because tonight's when everyone wants to check to make sure I'm sticking to that clause.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll tell some stories about some other friends' divorces in future weeks.
Yeah.
But no, let's talk about Orioles and Ravens. Yeah, I'm divorced. And I'm sure that's going to be part of the storyline because we talk a lot about our lives on here.
Yeah.
So that will come up.
Yeah.
That I think I've hinted at frustration about something I couldn't talk about over the past few months. And there you go.
Yeah, so for listeners who thought all your frustrations were stemming from PlayStations, you had other frustrations going on.
yeah, and guess what? The PlayStations still aren't here.
Well, there you go.
So
just everything's turning up roses for Josh here in 2021.
Yeah, so now I am staying at our parents' condo in a guest bedroom, and I was podcasting in the closet until the internet went out. So now I'm sitting in a tiny twin bed on my phone podcasting.
Nice.
So it's not just the Orioles that have had a bad year.
Yeah, you're not alone. In fact, some Orioles coaches were fired today, Josh. So you're not the only person going through some big life changes.
Yeah, well, that's good. Now let's hit the off season, and we'll both go out looking for some pitchers.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you, Josh, you probably now have some more free time on your hands. You can start warming up that arm. I heard Mike Elias is on the hunt for pitchers. So
yeah,
and he spends a lot of time in Florida.
I'm a slow pitch softball pitcher, so I will be doing some not be doing much throwing overhand. I'm also older than like everyone in professional sports outside of Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's true, but he's pretty good.
He is pretty good. I bet he could pitch too.
Yeah, well, he was drafted, right? He was in the major league draft. I don't know what position,
right?
But just in fine. All right, Josh. Well, I look forward to each week finding your location each week and trying to guess where you're at based on your background.
I am starting to look at houses. I'm starting to look online. I got to figure it out. Everything's kind of a mess right now. I did not expect to have to be out of the house in less than 48 hours, which is what I was told. In order for unnamed people to be agreeable, I had to give up the house and be out in less than 48 hours, because someone's having a midlife crisis.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yep.
I don't know if I could pack up my desk in 48 hours.
Most of the stuff is still in her garage. So I packed some clothes, packed some work and podcasting gear, and moved on. So it is what it is. I'm looking forward, which I think is what Mike Elias should be doing. He should just be saying 2021, it is what it is. Let's look forward.
Yeah. Though I do take some enjoyment out of seeing coaches fired at the end of the season. Yeah, it would annoy me if the Orioles had the worst record in baseball and still everyone kept their job. It makes me a little bit happy. I shouldn't take enjoyment out of other people getting fired, but I feel like something that's appropriate.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I agree.
Even if it was your boy too.
I missed the news today, so tell me who's been fired.
Josh, I'll go with the lead. Your boy.
Who's my boy?
The guy who you want to be our pitching coach, Alan Mills, fired.
I didn't even know Alan Mills was still with the organization.
I didn't know either. Apparently, he was coaching a Florida complex team or something.
Oh, that is stupid. So this is more. Why was he not a Mike Elias guy?
Well, all the guys I think that were fired are not Mike Elias guys.
Yeah, this sounds stupid. This sounds like them telling Mike Elias, "Hey, we got to fire someone to save face. Who can we fire? Well, we don't want to fire anyone on the big league squad. Can't fire anyone Mike Elias brought in. Who's left over that we haven't fired yet?"
Oh, they did fire someone from the Major League squad. I don't know if this is a Mike Elias guy. I don't know when he came in, but the hitting coach, Don Long, fired.
Okay. I have no problem with firing Don Long. But what about pitching? Who's the bullpen coach? He's got to be gone.
The bullpen coach?
Bullpen coach, pitching
You don't even know what the bullpen coach does.
Well, he fills up their Gatorade bottles.
Well, here's another one. I mean, we talked about the pitchers who struggled this year. Lothar and Wells and these guys from AAA. AAA pitching coach fired. A guy named Kenny Steenstra fired.
All right, here's my problem. No one that you have told me. All right, I guess Don Long, fine, but none of these guys had anything to do with the Orioles' crappy season.
Well, I mean, Kenny Steenstra is connected with. All the pitchers they brought up that were supposed to be good stunk, and the pitchers in AAA didn't pitch very well.
All right.
And the AAA manager, Gary Kendall, he was also fired.
Okay, no problem. Now, prediction, they promote Buck Britton to AAA.
Yeah.
I think that was my prediction last week.
Yeah, I mean, we talked before about how you should promote Buck Britton when you promote these players. So, that makes sense.
Then you bring them to the majors the year after.
Yeah.
Work his way up.
Yeah, I mean, and I think I'd be curious to see what happens. They didn't say as far as who's moving around, but those were the firings, and I assume that's it, because I assume if they weren't fired today, it is what it is. So it's Alan Mills, it's Don Long, and then it's on the minor league side, it's Steenstra and Gary Kendall. So, and I think I don't know about Steenstra. I don't know his history. Kendall was a holdover from before Elias. Alan Mills, of course, is a holdover before Elias. So I think this is continuing the process of Elias filling all his guys in there.
Yeah, and that's where I have a little bit of a problem is. It's like, oh, well, the problem is there were still guys left over.
Yeah, got to get rid of them.
So, yeah. But you're right. When your team sucks that bad, you got to do something. So, okay, it is what it is. Fire him.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes sense coming from AAA and the majors. I don't know about Alan Mills. I don't know what he's doing in the Florida Complex League, whatever.
Right, but who didn't rehab properly in Florida? I don't know. Yeah,
but I mean, it could be. Maybe he's not fully on board with the sabermetric stuff. I don't know. I don't know what Alan Mills is all about. But yeah. So that's I'm curious to see what kind of new hires they make and how the movements work out. I'm curious to see what Chris Holt is. I think is a big one for me. He was the pitching coach for the major leagues this past year. Before this, he was like the pitching coordinator in the organization.
Right. So why
after
is
having
he still
such a
here?
horrible major league experience, I wonder if they'll keep Chris Holt in that position or switch positions. Clearly, Chris Holt is Michael Elias's guy. Like he's one of the first guys he brought in. He's his kind of main man in pitching. I'm just curious to see what they do with the Chris Holt role, if they keep him as pitching coach or move him somewhere else.
Put him in as the bullpen coach.
Or put him back into that pitching development role, or that
bench coach, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would mean bringing in a real pitching coach.
Right, which I don't know if they really want to do that either. They're not promoting the guy from AAA because that guy was just fired. So
right. I mean, isn't the whole reason that Chris Holt is like Michael Elias's guy is because he buys into the Michael Elias system? And
yeah.
I really wants right now.
Well, yeah, and I think when Michael Elias brought in, a lot of the technology he brought in was related to pitching and spin rate and using the technology. Right. And I think Chris Holt is kind of an expert in this stuff. So I think that's very much in line. Right. But I think it's also a little bit. Chris Holt's young. I don't know how young he is, but he looks young. This was his first experience as a pitching coach, so I think it's also figuring out maybe Chris Holt. This is a learning experience for him too, and he'll come back better next year as a pitching coach. Or maybe you're still figuring out, what these guys' roles are. But all right, I got some. Just thinking about this season. The season's over, and it was everyone said this is going to be the most crazy, chaotic 3-way, 4-way, 5-way tie. Turns out there was none of that.
Boring. Yeah,
it was kind of lame.
New York and Boston both won.
Yeah, the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even watch that game. I'm not going to watch it. I don't care who wins.
You won't watch it. Yes, you will.
I'm not going to watch it, Josh.
Well, there's nothing else on TV on Tuesday night.
On a Tuesday night?
Tuesday night, a wild card game in Boston.
I'll go to sleep.
And you lose.
I don't want to watch them because when I watch a team, I like to root for somebody or root against somebody.
Yeah,
I can't root for anybody in that game. Who are you rooting for, Josh? Don't say injuries. You can't say that.
Yeah, an earthquake.
An earthquake? I don't know if you can say that either. That was an Oakland A's thing a while back.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, what can I say? There's lots of things I can't say.
I guess what you're hoping for is that it's a high-scoring game and both teams blow out all their pitchers, so it hurts them in the next series or something.
Yeah, you're right. There's nothing to root for.
That's why I don't want to watch it.
Because you can't root for negative things anymore.
Right.
And
at least not on a podcast.
Yeah.
You can maybe in the privacy of your own home.
Right. Tomorrow night I might text you some things that I'm rooting for.
Yeah. You just don't say it on the podcast.
No, I'm not saying on the podcast.
But as far as the season goes, Josh, and I'm curious to get your take on this. For me, when I think of the 2021 Orioles season, there's 4 highlights for me, 4 memories, 4 things.
All right.
That I feel like years prior have been very generic years. I feel like there's 4 things that happened this year that I'm not sure if I will ever forget. 4 events that happened this year that I think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I'll still remember these 4 things happening.
All right. I've got 2 of them immediately.
Okay. All right. 2 of them, 2 of the moments are, I remember where I was.
John Means no-hitter.
Yes, that's number 1 on my list. Number 1 highlight this year. So a memory I won't forget for a long time.
I remember there was a no-hitter right after him, and then they said, "Oh well, there's
Wade Miley got 1
no-hitters. Yeah, there's going to be 1 billion no-hitters this year." It's pretty quiet after Wade Miley.
Yep. And I remember that because I was thinking about it today actually, because I went to the dentist again just for my 6-month cleaning, and I remember the last time I was in the dentist was the John Means no-hitter where I was getting this root canal refixed or whatever. And I remember after I was driving home after the dentist in it was like the 7th inning or 6th inning, listening to it as I drove home. And then I hopped on with you and did the podcast with you and
Stecca?
Yeah, with Andrew.
I think it was. Yeah, and if anyone's wondering what happened to Birdland tonight, my chaotic life happened to Birdland tonight. It'll be back next year.
Oh, he's coming back next year?
Coming back next year. I'll get everything sorted out, and I'm bringing it back next year. My craziness of life made it impossible this year. I tried.
All right, well, yeah.
So we'll bring it back next year. But anyway, yeah. Right. And I believe that started all with some eyeball texting between us.
Yeah.
Where we couldn't say the words, so we would just send eyes back and forth.
Just eyeballs. And then, talking to you and Stecco about that with my mouth all numb. And and running home to turn on to watch the last inning.
Yeah.
That for me is kind of a lifetime memory right there. John Means no-hitter. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, an Oriole throwing a no-hitter. We've never seen that in our life.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
seeing a Dekinomo throw one against us, but not
right, exactly.
Not with us.
And that was in person.
Yep.
All right. I guess the other thing would be the Cedric Mullins 30-30.
Yeah, like I don't even know.
I don't even think there's a moment for that. It's more of just the season as a whole.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's two Cedric Mullins highlights that come immediately to mind for whatever reason.
Okay.
One is his great home run catch where he kind of leaped and at his peak robbed a home run center field. The other one was where he had for some reason this sticks out, where the pop up to shortstop. I want to say it was a pop up to shortstop, and he got a triple out of it. He got a triple out of a pop up, and that sticks out to my memory too. But then but you're right. It's more just kind of a general thing where we kept on saying he's hot now, but just wait till he cools off, and he just never cooled off.
I feel like we did at least 3 months of Section 336 talking about enjoy it until he calms down, until he cools off. I'm enjoying it, but I don't believe it. And I feel like it was 3 months until June. And then June, we're like, all right, I guess this is the guy. I guess this is what we get.
Yeah.
And even then, I think as I accepted that that's who he was, I was also expecting it to fall apart now that I've accepted it.
Yeah. It's weird to think of, like, even thinking about it now, like the Cedric Mullins 30 stolen bases. Okay, I could have believed that.
Yeah.
The batting over 300, it would have been like, you're pushing my level of speculation, but you're pushing me there. But okay. Let's say everything goes right past 300. The 30 home runs, what? Like little Cedric Mullins, 30 home runs is what? That's crazy.
Yeah. Something. Again, two things we've never seen as Oriole fans.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, does number 3 and number 4 have to do with the big league team?
Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about it. I mean, this is a big year for the minors, and I've been to a bunch of minor league games, but I'm not even.
You're not sneaking in Adley or Grayson or anything.
No, those are two great storylines. Yeah.
All right, so number 3 in the big league, in the clubhouse, the Chris Davis retirement.
That's number 4. Yep. Chris Davis retiring. That's because how many years have we talking about Chris Davis? It's kind of a big deal that he's no longer in the team.
It's been about 3 years of wondering, like, it's been probably 3 years of talking about whether or not he's going to make a comeback.
Yep. The end of Chris Davis's career with the Orioles.
All right. So I am blanking on your number 3.
Oh my gosh, this is the most obvious one, Josh.
What, the fact that they suck? That they're going to get the number 1 pick?
The fact that a player had cancer on our team last year.
Oh yeah, good storyline. Good storyline. The Trey Mancini comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Which they haven't announced that yet, right? But we all know it. Like, did they even take nominations this year?
I don't think so. I think they just know. For me, the specific memory, the Trey Mancini year, but the specific memory for me that I remember, and I think I will remember for a long time, is Trey Mancini in the home run derby.
Yes.
Because I was expecting him to go out in the first round, and dude made it to the final, crushing home runs.
Put on a show.
Yeah.
And, it would have been nice if he won, but whatever. Also, the fact that the first game against every opponent, he was getting hugs every time they got on first base.
Yeah, I think that's great. The crowd reaction, even Vlad Guerrero during the All-Star game recognizing him. So just throughout the year, I think fans and even the coverage by the media, I know Oriole fans hate how the media covers it, but they did a good job covering kind of, especially at the beginning of the season, the Trey Mancini story.
Yeah. Yeah. End of the season, they turned into an Oriole bash session with the media, but
it did. Yeah.
Rightfully so. Major League Baseball as a whole had a great year.
You think so?
And I think we've talked about it on here before. PR wise and stuff, like
they did really good this year. All-Star game was great. Everything
All-Star
about it
game was great.
The Field of Dreams game was great. Way better than anyone expected. It wasn't a gimmick. It was actually cool.
I thought the draft in July was really cool too.
The draft in July was good.
Yeah.
Like baseball, and even baseball being the first sport to kind of come back from the masks and closed things. Baseball was like one of the first out there.
Yep. Oh, and I can't forget about the emergence of Shohei Ohtani.
Of course, yeah, Ohtani.
It's been an amazing story this year.
Overall had a good year. The Orioles not a good year, but you're right. Those are some highlights and some memories that makes this not the worst Orioles team ever.
Yeah, this is not. I mean, I feel like some of those years are so generically kind of run together, but this year for me is gonna kind of be special for all those reasons. And you mentioned, Josh, we didn't talk about it, but the minors, the emergence of Grayson Rodriguez as the best minor league pitcher in baseball and his total dominance this year has just been a great storyline. One of my best experiences this year was going to his first start at Bowie, throwing to Adley Rutschman, everyone bringing their gas cans. Very cool memory for me. And and so I think that's our, not AAA, but our Bowie and Aberdeen and Delmarva all had great years. So the future is bright. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I think it's harsh to judge a team when looking and comparing different Oriole teams. I don't think you can judge them just by their record, because this team has better storylines for the record they presented.
Yep.
The record sucks. Or a horrible team.
Yep.
But all these other storylines are what gives you hope for next year.
Yep. I mean, including the top position prospect in baseball and the top pitching prospect in baseball. How about that?
Right.
To lead this rebuild. And both could be there. They both could be there opening day next year. But both certainly will be there at some point, I think, early in the season next year.
And like you were saying, great seasons from some minor league guys. Even if you're not talking about teams as a whole, some prospects looking good. Kersted's back to hitting the ball. That gives you hope. So, and then we got the number 1 draft pick again. So
and we got the number 1 overall draft pick
in July.
Well, I'm pretty sure we have the number 1 overall draft pick, right? We're pretty sure we have it.
Why wouldn't we? Arizona's got a worse record, right?
We have the same record. Last year we had the same record. In 2019, we have a worse record than Arizona.
Is that
because of that? Yeah. So under the current rules, we have the number 1 pick, Josh. But don't you think there's still a question that the CBA has to be decided this offseason? Don't you think there's a possibility?
That's what I was going to ask you. The CBA expires in January, right?
Right. It does, yes.
I mean,
so isn't there a chance a draft order could change too? Because that's been something that's been talking about tweaking for a while.
Yeah. I mean, sure. There's a chance. Yeah. You want to fire up Baltimore.
I don't want it to happen, but I kind of do, just to see everyone's reaction.
Right. I know. There's a chance, but there's also a chance we could not have a baseball season next year. With the CBA
one can only
up
hope.
In the air, there's a chance of anything right now.
Yeah.
And I hate to bring that up, and I hate to think that way, but I mean, the way everything else in this world's going right now, no one can agree about anything. How are the players and how's the union and the owners going to agree about something like this?
I got a couple more honorable mentions for highlights for this year.
Yeah.
The cat game in New York where the cat ran on the field. We had to chase him.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I did a Birdland tonight after that.
And I think that preceded our 19-game losing streak. So the curse of the cat.
Yep.
Relish winning after a long losing streak.
Oh, that was staged. That was a PR thing. That wasn't real.
And then my other honorable mention was
I'll tell you this about the Relish. If the Orioles had some balls, they would have let Relish go like 3 years before winning. They gave up after about 30 days.
Yeah, that was lame.
You want to have some fun.
Staying
go
power
3 years, and then you bring it out. You know what here's Orioles PR. You blew it. You should have waited until Adley Rutschman comes up, and his first game is when Relish wins. So then Adley comes up as the savior. He saved Relish, and now he's going to save the Orioles.
How about when we clinch the AL East again?
Yeah, but then Relish might never win.
So I know. I was just looking at it's so depressing. Toronto didn't make it. Toronto, had a huge run differential, had a great offense, traded, made all the right moves, and still
they won on Sunday. Yeah,
did all the right things. Yet still on the outside looking in. And you look at that, you're like, oh my gosh, we're never going to win.
Any chance with the CBA stuff they can change the divisions?
Yeah, that's their only hope. They need to. That's what they need to do. Shake up these divisions. Any other division. First of all, we don't get the number 1 draft pick unless we're in the AL East. But
true.
Outside of that, it's miserable.
No, I think we talked last week about how much we struggle against the AL East.
Yep.
Everyone else.
The other honorable mention is just all the debuts this year. We saw a debut. I mean, even some veterans like Spencer Watkins was a pretty cool story. We got to see Mike Bauman, Tyler Nevin, Alexander Wells, Zach Lothar, all those guys. So there's a bunch of guys this year. I mean, Jahmai Jones for the Orioles made his debut. So a bunch of guys made their major league debut. And so that's part of being a rebuilding team is you get a bunch of players in there who get to make their first experience in the major. So that was kind of cool to see.
It's something, sure.
Some good stories there. Oh, and the other honorable mention, maybe this should be part of my top 5 or whatever, but Ryan Mountcastle with his I think he ended up with like 33 home runs or something.
Yeah,
a great rookie season.
Right, not getting the talk he should be as far as a Rookie of the Year nominee, but an outstanding rookie season and a guy that really struggled at the beginning of the season, where we were having the conversation of we'll sending him down, help him. And he did, because it took him about June to really figure it out.
Yep.
So, good for Ryan.
Yep, led the team in home runs, led the team in RBI. So that's pretty cool to do with not a lot of whole help around you. So good for him. I was just looking at our stats, team leaders. So batting average, Mullins, home runs, Mountcastle, RBIs, Mountcastle, and then you go down the list: stolen bases, runs, OBP, slugging, OPS, hits, doubles, triples, walks. All of them are Mullins.
Yep.
Games played, at-bats, all of them are Mullins. Mullins was the Orioles' most valuable player this year.
Obviously. Yeah.
There was no runner-up. There was no person in second. It was just him.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, in a season that had more disappointments than up moments, I think the season still had some up moments. And I think, hey, listen, my initial thinking was, as far as the Orioles go and their kind of long-term plan, this year we get to, try to make a run at 70 games, get around 70 games. Right. Next year we get over 500, and then we win the World Series in 2023. This changes things a little bit. It's just going to accelerate a lot faster. So next year we're going to make a push at the 70-plus games, and then we go immediately into the World Series. So we're just skipping the over 500 and going from 70 wins to World Series.
See, to me, this all depends on what Elias does. I think,
but
Elias
what he's going to do, Josh.
Parts. I think Elias has the right parts that he could put a 500 club on the field next year.
He could, but he's not. You know what he's going to
do. He could sign a veteran, like top 2 pitcher.
He's not.
He could bring up Adley. He could bring up Grayson, and this is an 86, 87 win team.
Yeah, but he's not going to do that.
Grayson starting opening day.
Yeah. And listen, I think it's more likely that Grayson and Adley start opening day just based on Elias's comments that he signs anyone good this offseason. I think he's going to bring in 3, number 4, number 5 starters, maybe a bullpen arm, and then Jose Iglesias type shortstop, and then call it good, and then hope the prospects get here.
But I think if you start the season with Adley and with Grayson and you sign a good veteran pitcher, that's an 80-win team, right?
Yeah. I mean, it depends a lot on how Grayson performs, but yeah,
it's got potential.
You feel good about a Means, Grayson, and then you fill in that third guy, depending how good he is, somewhere in the top 3, and you got a good top 3 there. And then presumably, I don't know who's going to start 4 and 5, but you got Kyle Bradish, who should be, he's knocking on the door, and then
Michael Bowman.
Yeah, depending on how much Michael Bauman, and then, but I still think I don't know. Like I still think who's 4 and 5 for you? Chris Ellis,
maybe Wells,
who maybe Bruce Zimmerman, but they're all question marks.
Yeah,
outside of Means
right.
and Grayson, and then you hope that DL Hollis Health can get up there soon. I also don't know how many pitches Grayson Rodriguez is going to pitch this year. Like this past year, they were holding him to 5 innings a game. Is that going to be the case next year? Like, I don't know.
I think that was a whole coming off of not having a season last year, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots of questions. Do you think? So I'm interested to see how this offseason's handled, because if the CBA expires in January, but there's a lot of stuff. Teams make a lot of moves in November, December.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how
everyone waits or people are more aggressive.
You're going to have to. The winter meetings are in like end of November, right?
They're usually, I think, December.
Earlier?
I thought they usually were
December, something like that.
Yeah, I thought they were usually first or second week of December.
So like you normally you're gonna cut some players and try to start signing players around that time.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it with some guys who are up for arbitration and stuff that really they could probably just let go.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I was thinking about the end of this year. I thought part of my reasoning was the 70s plus win for this year was like, I thought we'd get better as the season went on, because once we traded these guys away, or once we cut these guys like Franco, we'd replace them with better prospects.
Yeah.
And the reality was that this year is those better prospects really didn't step on the scene so much. And
there's no prospect that we brought up this year that got our attention.
Yeah. I mean, I think the two highly touted guys were Jahmai Jones, who didn't look great, and Michael Baumann, who again was okay.
And I enjoyed McKenna at the beginning of the season.
Oh, sure, McKenna too. That's fair.
But I also enjoyed McKenna with the knowledge that he's not big league ready, and they brought him up early.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I think the Orioles have some question marks too, which we can get into at this offseason with Santander, what to do with him. I saw several people tweeting that we might have seen Trey Mancini play his last game at Camden Yards. Can I always say I would be 100% shocked, like totally blown away, if the Orioles trade Trey Mancini. I would be floored and shocked if they did it at this point.
Trey had a really bad September.
Yep.
So his trade value is virtually nothing right now.
I can't think it's that high.
Right.
I mean, a below average defensive outfielder, an average first baseman who's batting .255 with 21 home runs. No offense to Trey. We love him, and I want him to stay forever. I don't think his trade value is high.
No, but I saw no reason to extend him or trade him. He's under contract next year, right?
Yep.
So I think he comes back next year, and this is the year of this year we give you all the excuses, Trey. You beat cancer. It doesn't matter what you did on the field. But sorry, next year you got to prove yourself. If you want more money, you got to prove it. And as much as I'll say, in the same way that I don't think the Orioles can trade him because I think he has no trade value, I will be disappointed if the Orioles extend him this offseason.
Oh, really? I would be okay with it.
Why? He's a below-level outfielder, an average first baseman, and he struggled to hit the ball.
I know, but Josh, you're just a cold-hearted Mr. Burns who views everything, who looks at the entire world through dollars and cents. And that's just not how I look at the world. I think Trey Mancini brings more value to our team than any other team. Both
correct.
Because his leadership in the clubhouse, especially when you're bringing a bunch of young players, I think it's great to have a veteran leader in there.
Okay, so what do you want? Trey Mancini, the hitting coach? Maybe he retires this year and we make him a bench coach?
No,
you're not saying anything. Nothing that you're saying is something a player brings to a team. This is the type of things the mascot brings to the team.
All right, Josh. So he plays first base and DH. You could cut him or trade him, and then the next guy up in Norfolk would be, I think, Ryan Ripken. So you want to replace Trey Mancini with Ryan Ripken?
No, it'd be what's his name, the outfielder that we had up this week.
Tyler Nevin.
Tyler Nevins, yeah.
Yeah, and Trey Mancini is a better player than Tyler Nevins. Trey Mancini gives you a better chance to win right now than Tyler Nevins.
But you're
Get out of here, Josh.
Who will? All right. Who will get time at DH if Trey leaves?
Ryan Mackhouse will probably get more time at DH.
Okay. And who else? Who do they not want squatting every single day, but you can't take them out of the lineup? Adley Rutschman.
Okay. I don't think Trey Mancini's eating into Adley Rutschman's plate appearances. No, I'm okay with you. You can play his contract out. He's a free agent in 2023.
All I'm saying is play the contract out.
I'm okay with that too. But if they added a year or two, I mean, he's not signing a 7-year extension. It would be a 2 or 3 year extension, if anything.
But come on, he beat cancer. Don't you want to take care of him for the next 100 years, like a Chris Davis type contract?
Well, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, no one deserves it more than Trey Mancini, and he's only 29. Josh, you act like he's 40. He's 29.
I'm not. I'm saying.
I don't know why you hate Trey Mancini so much.
I told you this year everything's good. You beat cancer. Didn't matter what you did on the field. But if you want more money from me next year, you got to do it. You got to show it. You got to show that you deserve it. You can't play the cancer card next year. 1 year at a time. You used it up. 162 games. That's enough cancer usage.
Okay, no one's playing a cancer card here, Josh. Get out of here. You're just making things up.
Card. You just said you're okay extending him even though he sucks because of cancer.
Okay, you're putting words in my mouth. I'm not justifying. Would I do that? Yes, I would do that because he had cancer, sure. But I'm also saying he gives us the best chance to win. Even how he played this year gives us a better chance to win than anyone we could bring up from the minors. And I think next year he'll be better than he was this year because he'll be more healthy.
I hope so.
But even if he plays like he did this year, I think I would still consider extending him.
I would not extend him.
I would think about it. So. But you're right. I mean, the point I was trying to bring up at the beginning is I think he means more the Orioles, so I don't think the Orioles would kind of trade him for nothing. And I don't think his value with other teams is very high because you can find another first baseman / left fielder who hits 255 and has 21 home runs. That guy you can find. Yeah.
Yep. And the Orioles squeezed all they could out of the cancer story, so you're not going to get that.
Why do you keep on saying that, Josh? Shut up. Oh my gosh.
But I mean, I am interested to see, like, all right, so they fired some people today. Not people I really expected, but whatever. They fired people. I'm curious to see what the Orioles do. I like that they did it right away. I do like that. But I'm curious to see what type of moves does Mike Elias and team make over the next month.
Yeah. Do you care, Josh, who the coaches are, though? Like, they're going to hire some coaches. Like, I remember 2 years ago, they brought in a wave of these, like, college coaches, these, like, 30-year-olds. We had one in our show, Fuller in our show before Ryan Fuller. There was, like, a wave of these guys.
We had Ryan Fuller on our show?
No, who we had on our show?
Patrick Jones.
Patrick Jones. Is Ryan Fuller a person? We had Patrick Jones.
I don't know who Ryan Fuller is.
Did I just make up that name completely?
Patrick Jones is a hitting coach in Sarasota.
Yeah, who's super smart, super intelligent, and super
nerdy.
Sabermetric-y. I don't know what the word is. But see, for me, Josh, that's all well and good, and that's in player development, and that's fine.
I'm fine with all that.
But I really don't. I mean, Don Long, they're going to replace the hitting coach. And to be honest, I really don't care who the new hitting coach is, right? I think if Carlos Correa is on our team, we'll be a better hitting team. It doesn't matter who the hitting coach is.
Moving Buck Britton to Norfolk will excite me because I'm serious about the Norfolk, Buck to Norfolk to Baltimore. Because I'm serious about that transition, that would excite me.
Yeah, I think that would excite me too. I think a lot of fans are getting behind Buck Britton too. And I mean, a lot of success.
What I'm really looking forward to,
is
when Buck leaves the Orioles organization and tells us the proper way to spell his name. You know, he'll throw an H in there instead of a K.
For Buck Britton.
Yeah,
I see what you did there. Talking about his brother there.
His brother.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Ryan Fuller, I just looked it up. According to LinkedIn.com, Ryan Fuller is the full season hitting coordinator for the Orioles.
All right, so you didn't just make a name up.
So Ryan Fuller is an actual hitting guy. Yeah, it was, and he's part of this whole kind of young movement of hitting coaches.
Right, we'll get Ryan Fuller on in the offseason then.
All right, so you don't make a liar out of me.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it'd be an interesting offseason. The coaches, whatever, and player wise, for me, my mindset, Josh, is just to set my expectations as low as possible. So I'm going to assume they'll bring in Matt Harvey and Wade LeBlanc and Ty Malone as an answer to their pitching problems. And then maybe if I set that bar that low, Mike Elias will surprise me.
See, and I'm going in with high expectations.
Yeah, you want Stroman and Scherzer.
The guy from the Nats. The other guy.
That's Stroman, yeah, Marcus Stroman.
No, someone else I was thinking about.
Noah Syndergaard.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yeah, bring me a real pitcher.
All right.
And I expect a real pitcher this offseason.
All right. So. Well, there's plenty of shortstops. It seems like there's a whole lot of pitchers. So yeah, we'll see when after the playoffs how this all shakes out, and even I'm curious to see with the rumors. Are we even linked to names? Because in the past, Orioles weren't even linked to names, right? Like we're not even mentioned. So I wanted to see.
And I imagine we won't be linked either. Linked. I feel like we won't be linked if we sign, but I think we'll still sign someone. I think we just won't be linked because I think the media doesn't like to write good things about the Orioles.
Mm. So we won't be linked, but we'll still sign them.
Exactly.
And then we'll be linked.
But it's like I'm not going to mention the Orioles as an opportunity because they'll never make this move.
Yeah. So. All right. I think the national media also would be shocked if the Orioles did anything. I think they assume the Orioles are still tanking.
Maybe that's what kills Peter Angelos. The Orioles make a real move.
Yeah. Well,
and the shock of Peter Angelos.
Well, you're right. I mean, I'm with you what you said initially, Josh. I don't think we're that far off from being a 500 team. I know we just had the worst record in all of baseball.
I know, and it's silly, but it's because we've got two guys who are going to be stars, like just waiting to come up.
Yeah,
who guys could be in the Rookie of the Year conversation.
Yeah, I mean, the second Adley Rutschman walks on the field, he's a top 3 player on our team.
Yeah, he's top 5 catcher in baseball as soon as he gets on the field.
Oh, easy top 5 catcher in baseball. And the second Grayson Rodriguez walks on the field, he becomes either our ace or a number 2 starter, depending on how much you like John Means and how good Grayson is. He immediately becomes our 1 or 2 pitcher. And so it's almost like in free agency, you can say, what if I told you can sign an ace and you can sign the best catcher in baseball in free agency, or the second best catcher in baseball.
But
sounds like a pretty good offseason.
Exactly. But that's the fear. The fear is that's all they do.
Right.
The fear is they don't make the moves because we've got our own internal moves that are good enough. Where what we need them to do is open up that wallet, make the moves outside the organization, and then also inside the organization. You got to make both to get up to a 500 club.
And Mike Elias knows that, Josh. I think the issue is Mike Elias doesn't know that signing those guys plus Grayson Rodriguez and Adley Rutschman will guarantee you a playoff spot. And so if it's not going to get me to the playoffs, why am I going there this year? Because Mike Elias' goal is not to get 500. He don't care about 500. His goal is either playoffs or not the playoffs.
Right.
And he wants to play.
Exactly. And that's where I think Mike Elias could be too hesitant to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Because he says, oh, well, I can't win until it's time to win.
Yeah. And my argument would be, and I think I'm similar to you, Josh, where let's say there's 10 holes in this team, right? 10 positions you need to fill in this team before you can make the playoffs.
Right.
And some of those positions will be filled in the minors by minor league guys, but not all 10. Not all 10 major positions. And 10 is a lot to fill even in one off season. So next off season, you're not going to sign 4 starting pitchers and a shortstop and a third baseman, right? So this offseason, if you sign a pitcher to a 3 to 5 year deal and maybe a really good shortstop to a 5 year deal, all of a sudden next year, you just need to get the 1 or 2 missing pieces as opposed to buying 5 or 6 pieces, right?
And you know what? If you want to buy those pieces, like say you want to go after Stroman, you want to go after a real pitcher, you have to call him and say, hey, look, here's how we're going to do better this year. We're bringing up Adley. We're bringing up Rodriguez. We're making this move. You're not going to convince Stroman to come to your team and say, but I'm not bringing up the young kids. We're going to still be below 500. You're not going to bring this guy.
It's true. And Stroman's not dumb. Like, they see the Orioles are the number 1 farm system in baseball. They know who Adley Rutschman is.
But That's why Manny Machado went to San Diego, and how'd that turn out for him?
So far, so good.
Yeah, exactly. But what attracted him? The young talent, and saying as soon as you get here, we're bringing up all the young talent.
Yeah, and a couple $100 million too. But yeah.
Yeah, but still, you've got to show that to bring these veteran players in.
Yeah,
but no one wants to play for a loser.
It's true, and the good thing about the Orioles again with this young prospect stuff is, we couldn't say this 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where people talk about like Kobe Mayo, and Kobe Mayo had a great year, and even Colton Cowser had a great debut for the Orioles.
Yeah,
but I cannot get excited for the life of me about a hitter hitting 300 in Delmarva. Like that does nothing for me.
Right,
a player's performance for the Shorebirds. But when you get to Bowie, to me that's a step away. And so the fact that we see so many good players at Bowie right now, that they're just a step away from the majors, that's what has me excited, because if they're at Bowie this year, it means they could be with the Orioles next year, and that I'm excited about that.
Right. We always hear Double A is the hardest transition. If you make it at Double A, you have a better shot, obviously.
Yeah. And Michael Elias said, he said, Grayson Rodriguez doesn't necessarily need to pitch at AAA. Right. I don't think Adley Rutschman needs to play any more games at AAA, to be honest. I think he's good. Adley Rutschman's good. Yeah. He'll be fine in the majors. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big offseason for what the Orioles want to do. All right. And you want to get in some Ravens talk here?
I mean, I'm glad that the Ravens have been fun to watch. I think did we talk about last week's game, or was that a Monday night game? That was a Sunday night game.
So that was a Sunday 1 o'clock. Yeah, Justin Tucker.
Oh, yeah, we had a normal 1 o'clock.
66-yard field goal.
Next week we're back to a Monday night football game.
Are we again? Son of a gun.
Yeah. So we'll have to record on either Sunday or Tuesday.
Is that the Browns?
It is the Colts in Baltimore.
Oh yeah, the Colts. That's right. That'd be easy pickings.
But I mean, the Ravens are fun.
Yeah.
And it's nice and refreshing to have a team that's fun to cheer for. I don't understand the running back situation, but whatever. Who needs a running back when you got Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I was completely blown away by the game because
did you see that the Bronco coaches were upset how we ran for it in the final seconds to pass 100 yards?
Yeah,
I continue the streak going.
Yeah, I don't really care. I think that's the 10th most interesting storyline from that game. But I know that's all everyone's talking about.
I mean, because I think it's just silly. I think we like to see grown men whine.
Yeah, and if the shoe was on the other foot, I would whine too.
Yeah,
but it's not on that foot; it's on this foot, and so I'm good with it.
Right. So, but I think no. I mean, I think what is it? Oweh is looking really fun on defense to watch.
Yeah,
he's getting in there making plays. And how about that catch that Marquise Brown made to redeem himself after that tough week?
Well, and I think this is true for most players, where that catch in some ways is easier than some of the drops the week before, because you're just laying out on instinct, right? Where sometimes if a ball's thrown right at you and hits you in the chest, you're thinking about it more. And that's when you can goof up. There's no time to think on that play. That's just kind of instinctual.
Yeah. And hey, you want to talk about that Mark Andrews touchdown that got called back for a stupid penalty?
Josh, it literally cost me $1,000.
I saw. It cost me $15 if you feel better.
Okay. Because I had Mark Andrews, 100 yards, and I would have gotten 100 yards and a touchdown and a Ravens win. It was that kind of parlay, and the Ravens win.
I saw.
And I had 2 bets on it, one for $5, one for $10, and it was going to return me $1,000.
I put $1 down on that thing, and I was going to get 15. So, I hear you.
I did not have a good betting week. I hate gambling.
Yeah, me too.
But I was so surprised because just the way we lost to the Raiders, barely beating some Chiefs, we had to kind of get lucky. Lions are one of the worst football teams. Like this is why I don't understand betting. Like I saw the Lions play us. They played us. It took us a miracle 4th and 19,
right?
A shady ref call and a field goal kick.
Right. So then you're convinced the Lions are good.
Yes, or like average. And then that same Lions team goes against a team, the Bears, whose quarterback the week before threw for like 50 yards and 3 interceptions. And I'm thinking, the Lions were plus. You give me 3 points with the Lions?
I know. So
take all my money.
Too.
This is the easiest win in the world. And then the Bears light up the Lions.
If you want to talk betting, the Lions.
I don't understand betting at all. I don't understand this football thing.
No, the Lions game screwed me. The Patriots. Come on, it's Tom Brady and the Bucs going into New England on Sunday night, and it's only a 7-point spread. Surely he's going to pass that spread.
I thought they win by 3 touchdowns. I thought the Bucs were going to run the score.
I bet on the over, and I bet on the Bucs, and then it's a 2-point game. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. Mac Jones
I suck at betting.
Is a rookie quarterback. That's a veteran defense. Everyone's coming back together. Yeah. I thought the Vegas got it wrong because they're too paranoid about Belichick or whatever, and that number should have been higher. Yeah, it's just. There was another game that was like, when the Jets in Tennessee. That the third game that got me was the Jets in Tennessee.
Yeah.
What the heck? The Jets, who got blown out by the Broncos. The Broncos covered the 10-point spread, and now the Titans get a 6-point spread as opposed to the Broncos covered a 10-point. Surely the Titans will cover 6 points if the Broncos cover 10 points.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that makes sense. I might take next week off betting.
I might take the rest of the season off. Terrible.
Yeah.
But no, I was just shocked because we played so poorly against the Lions. We barely beat the Lions. It took a miracle.
Right.
And I thought, here's a 3-0 Broncos team who's a lot better. I thought it's going to be an absolute dogfight. And I don't know if we were going to win, but from Jump Street, we kind of dominated on both ends. Our defensive pass rush, Bowser, where have you been all year? Our defensive pass rush was there. So just a super impressive season. And I'm pumped to see Bateman come back to this offense. Lamar Jackson throwing for 300 yards. Plus, we get Rashad Bateman back at some point.
Right. Hopefully next week.
Hopefully next
Monday
week.
Night.
Yep. That's going to be this could be a pretty exciting offense.
And because we've already had 3 road games, which means we're home for like the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, we're home forever. Yeah.
It's a ridiculous amount at home. So that's all good too.
Yeah. Yeah. So the NFL is shaping to be a fun season.
Have you looked at the way the Ravens face Cleveland? I think it's in late November.
No.
We play the Browns. Then the Browns have a bye week, and then we play the Browns again.
Oh, really? That is weird.
So the Browns get the Ravens back to back with a bye week in between. So whatever we do, they're going to build up to prepare for that first game. Whatever doesn't work right, they're going to have a whole bye week to prepare for it. That second game with the Browns is going to be tough.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know. Or like, are the Browns good? Like sometimes I think the Browns are great. Sometimes I think the Browns are still the Browns. I can't decide if they're good or not.
It's nice to see the Steelers be bad, though.
Yeah, the Steelers are bad. We know that.
Yes.
It looks like they're the worst team in the division, actually.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Bengals surprised me, but snuck by the Jags.
Yeah, I mean, they're all 3-1
pick this week. So. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all out of it. I forgot to pick one.
So
I thought I did, but I didn't pick one, so I'm out.
Right.
But yeah, the AFC North, everyone 3-1 except for the Steelers. That's pretty.
But yeah, football's fun.
Yeah, football's fun.
I'll watch the baseball playoffs, and I'll root against Boston and New York. I think Milwaukee's my team. I think I'm gonna be rooting for the Brewers.
Yeah, I was all in with the Mariners. They're not even in it anymore, so I got to pick a new team because I was pumped about the Mariners making the playoffs.
Yep, Mariners would have been fun.
Yeah, so you're going with the Brewers, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Brewers.
All right. I don't know. I don't want anyone from the ALEs. I'm sick of Tampa Bay. I'm just sick of them.
I'm sick of the whole American League. I
kind of like San Francisco, but then I'm kind of annoyed every time I see your Scrempsey or Gossman. It's going to annoy me, so I really can't root for them either.
That's why I'm telling you, the Brewers are the team.
Yeah, they have Josh Hader, though. Josh Hader annoys me.
The young guy.
Yeah. All right. I might get behind. I also maybe the White Sox.
All right. I don't mind the White Sox if you go in American League.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. I'll watch the playoffs, see what team strikes at my heartstrings. It's going to be more rooting against, I think. I'm rooting against Yankees and Red Sox in Houston.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm going to come see you this weekend.
Oh yeah, we got to talk off air about that.
Yeah, I know you got a list of some projects around the house or something.
Yeah, I got
right?
some TVs to be installed.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
All right. Yeah, and then I'm coming to Florida a couple weeks too, so we can do some live shows if we want.
Yeah, actually, we probably should do that since the internet here sucks. It'd be good to get together.
Yeah.
So if not this weekend, then when you're down here, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else for the good of the cause?
I think we're good. Let's bring back the ball bag next week. I'll have some stuff to talk about next week, so I think the ball bag will be good. Good segment to bring back.
The ball bag. Where you pull out questions?
What's the thing we do at the end?
Ball 4?
Ball 4. Yeah. Right. You're right. Yeah. Ball 4. Let's bring ball 4
ball
back.
Bag.
I got a lot going on. Sorry, it's been a stressful week. So I'm saying let's bring back ball 4.
All right. And story time or no? There's no story time. It's story time with Josh.
Maybe I am hanging out with Bert on Saturday.
Okay.
So that might bring some story time. But yeah, you want some not story time with Josh, but story time with about a friend of Josh's.
Oh yeah, story time with a friend of Josh's.
Yeah. Maybe we'll bring that next week or the week after. That's coming soon. I got a lot down here going on. I got to figure out a place to live and all that.
Yeah.
And all the all the stuff you do after moving on. After
all the married, starting life over again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's time to rebuild everything I had. So.
Well, that's exciting. I'm stuck with all the stuff I have. It's exciting for you.
Oh, it's not exciting at all.
Just trying to be the optimist here.
Fun. It's all right. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to be able to share about it on this podcast, so that'll make it fun as well.
Yeah. All right. Absolutely. Well, guys, you can support the show. Support Josh on Twitter, or follow Josh on Twitter. Not support him. I guess support him with your follow.
And here we go. I got alimony and child support to deal with, so hit up Patreon.
Oh yeah, we need your Patreon more than ever, boys and girls. So
go on over to section336.com and click the support tab in the bottom for Patreon, or just send us cash straight through PayPal.
All right, boys and girls, go awesome iTunes, write us a review. We appreciate those 5 stars. You can follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at section336, and follow Josh on Twitter
at Josh Faroka.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. As always, go Ravens.